Hey everybody, look at that, look at that. The case is full. It's full. That means both of my Collier cases are full. And I'm not gonna make the mistake again of saying that I'm done buying modules, no more. If there is functionality that I felt was missing, if there are things that I want to be able to do that I can't do with all of this, then A, I will figure out where the heck to put it, and then B, I'll get a few more modules to fill in that gap. But let's see what I've got here. I think last month I said I was getting a 20 HP module that would just go in there and fill it up. You can plainly see that's not what happened. And other modular fiends out there are probably familiar with this phenomenon, that while you are waiting for the money to come in so you can buy your next thing, you're going to be looking online. You're going to be looking at the modules that are available, and you are gonna stumble upon something that is way cooler than what you had on your wish list. And you're going to change your mind. This is what did it for me. It's BASTL Hendrix, and I had actually sort of glanced past it on the list several times because it's an external interface, and I already have mutable ears, which does that. Hendrickson has 1/4-inch jacks, so oh yeah, you don't have to use an adapter. Well, whoop-dee, I don't mind using an adapter. Well, no, I actually looked at the description for this and read what it does. And it not only does it have an input, it also has an output. So you can boost external signals up to modular level, and you can trim modular signals down to line level or guitar level. And that means that you can use guitar effect pedals with your modular. That is genius. It's also a big money saver because I already have like a dozen guitar pedals. Not having to buy modules to do that and just using effects I already have, that's a great idea. So obviously I had to get this. And that totally changed my plan, because if I got that, I wouldn't have 20 HP, and I got a precision adder, which I'll talk about some other time, so I'm not using it right now for this patch. I got BASTL Tromsø, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, TROMS/O, it's a Scandinavian letter. It's a triangle wave oscillator, a comparator, and a sample and hold, and when you put them together you get an analog bit crush or sample rate reduction sort of effect. Basically lo-fi digital distortion. You can also get this kind of FM inharmonic distortion modulating effect, but it's entirely an analog circuit that does it. And all three of the pieces can be patched out and used separately, because BASTL is all about designing their modules to be as versatile as possible in the space that they have available. I had kind of been interested in Tromsø, but had given up on it because I wasn't going to have room. But then changed my mind. I did have room, so. And then I got Dynamo. I've seen that one before too, and I never really understood what it does. But I read up on it some more, and since it's going to have 5 HP, how many 5, there's not a whole lot. That's an odd size. Most of the 5 HP modules are BASTL modules. And Dynamo was the most interesting one, so I got it. And I think that I made the right choice. Dynamo does just a crap ton of things. It's basically it's a dynamics processor. It extracts CV curves from an incoming signal, as opposed to some of your other CV sources a sequencer, which you set steps and it's clocked. You have an envelope, which plays a slope when it receives a trigger, and you have an LFO, which is just kind of a time-based thing that oscillates at the frequency you give it. Well, Dynamo generates CV from an incoming signal, and the signal I am feeding it is this. That's the Tragotronic M669, and it's receiving a clock signal from the CLX to make it change flavors like that. That's going into the dynamo, and then the dynamo has a mult on the input, so you can take that signal and send it right back out. While dynamo is processing it, you can also listen to it, which was nice of them to include that. Dynamo has a comparator. When the signal exceeds the threshold that you set on this knob, or you can use CV, when it exceeds the threshold, then the gate goes high, as indicated by this light right here. And that gate I'm using to clock my two sequencers, receiving an irregular clock. The CV from the sequence 8 is controlling the pitch of the E950 in wavetable mode. CV from the Penta is controlling the frequency of Tromso's oscillator. Output from the E950 is going into Tromso and then on to a low-pass filter. The filter cutoff frequency is being modulated by a compressor curve from dynamo, which is a negative voltage that only kicks in when the signal exceeds the threshold. I hope you understood that. I'm only just starting to figure it out myself. But anyway, all of that is going through this filter, and it sounds like this. And now keep in mind, all of the modulation affecting that sound is being derived from this noise. I think that's pretty amazing. And I'm just barely scratching the surface. The dynamo and the Tromso are really pretty deep modules. And this patch right here is basically well, it's not my first attempt. I did a basic test patch earlier to make sure that they worked. This is my first attempt that's actually listenable to any degree. And like I said, I'm only scratching the surface of dynamo. This module does like half a dozen different things. There's a voltage control 2-to-1 switch down here that I'm not even using, as well as 4 other CV curves that are available. And you could control the comparator with an external CV if you wanted to. It's just nuts. And I think what I got right here is going to be way more useful than the 20 HP modulator I was originally planning to get. So the whole having to wait does have its advantages. But at any rate, I have talked for 9.5 minutes. If you're still with me at this point, thanks for hanging. You must find this kind of thing interesting, so go ahead, like and subscribe. And if you're just arriving, I have loads of stuff on my channel to listen to, and there's gonna be loads more, because look at all this stuff. I've got a lot of tinkering to do, and I have to thank my Patreon patrons because they paid for most of this. I don't know what I would be doing without them. You guys are the coolest people in the world. And those of you who are not patrons, if you want to become one of the coolest people in the world, I'll put the links on the screen and also in the description below. Thanks for listening. I'm starting to lose my voice, so I better wrap this up. I'll see you guys next time.